Good morning, everyone. I'm Robin Donoghue. I am the Young Australian Best Book Awards Virtual Author Program Coordinator, and I actually also work at Tucker Road Bentley Primary School on Bunurong land. And welcome to the second Yabba session for the year, which is Harmony Day with Kate and Joel Temple. So just welcome the following schools. So Anderson Creek Primary School, Bentley West Primary School, Birmingham Primary School, California Gully Primary School, Camelot Rise Primary School, someone from homeschooling who I actually know, so good morning, Kerrang Primary School, Langley Primary School, Leopold Primary School, Lockwood Primary School, Malvern Primary School, Panton Hill Primary, Rushworth Peter 12 College, Sun Centre Christian College, Spenceley Street Primary School, Tarneet Peter 9 College, the Knox School, Virtual School Victoria, Wandanyulock Primary School, Watsonia North Primary School, Winters Flat Primary School, and Yabba Council and Department of Education representatives. Welcome to this session. Have a great Harmony Day and keep smiling.
Welcome to this Yabba virtual author presentation.
Hi everyone, and Wominjenka. We welcome you today to our second virtual author program session. It is my great pleasure to welcome Kate and Joel Temple today, and we are going to start with a welcome to country. So before we start, it is Harmony Day today, and that's why I'm wearing orange. So I hope wherever you are getting ready to think about Harmony Day and what that means for you and your place in Australia. But let's do our acknowledgement of country. Let's get our hands ready so that you can touch the ground where you are. We're streaming the Yabba Vaps on the traditional owners of this land, and I remember the Gubbi Gubbi people. Do you know the peoples on the land you are on? Now reach for the stars that shine so bright, just like all of our creators, to remind us of the dreaming of the traditional custodians of this land. And touch your heart as we pay respect to elders past, present, and emerging. So, boys and girls, we have a great session ready for you today. And Wominjenka, because we are going to be welcoming Kate and Joel Temple to our second virtual author program in partnership with the Department of Education. And we are super excited to be hosting Kate and Joel Temple. They are a husband and wife duo who write hilarious books just for you. You might know some of the books that I've got in my background. I've got Bin Chicken. You might know the Bin Chicken series. They are super popular at my school. We're going to be talking about Room on Our Rock. We're going to be talking about The Underdogs. And we've even got Kate's book, The Dangerous Business of Being Trilby Moffat, and also the Alice Tooley series. And you might have even read some of the Jimmy Cook books as well. They have written an amazing amount of work, and they share their writing with their pet cavoodle, Wicket. So without further ado, let's welcome Kate and Joel Temple into the studio.
No, thank you, Michelle.
Hello, everybody.
Happy
Great
harmony.
to have you here today. Oh, and there's Wicket.
Wicket. She's just
Hi,
looking out
Wicket.
for the kids. There we go.
Oh yeah,
And
you can see them
I think she
actually
spotted them.
with her special dog sensors.
Yeah, good.
And see, I've got little Nibbles, my little Yabba mouse here with me today. So I better be a bit careful that Wicket doesn't scare Nibbles too much. So even
What's
Nibbles says hello, Wicket.
Woof. Well, there we go.
Fantastic to have you on board, and thanks for partnering with Yabba and the Department of Education to have you on our streaming for Harmony Day. And I can see you're wearing the orange colours just like us.
We've got our orange on, exactly, and I think that that's a perfect way to celebrate harmony. I wonder how many other people have got orange on today.
Wicket didn't get the memo. She's just
She's not in orange.
no,
She doesn't even have an orange collar on,
No.
but she's feeling very harmonious.
she is.
Oh, I can tell. And she's loving that little pat there, I can see.
Yeah.
Very special puppy dog. And I believe Wicket keeps you company in your writing studio as you work together.
Yeah, that's right. So her favorite spot is actually on the sofa in the writing studio, and she will come out and sit there. The great thing about Wicket is that she is really lazy. So as she gets up in the morning and she's the perfect writer's dog, she comes out to the sofa and she lies there all day. And then in the afternoon, she wants to chase a ball.
Well, that's okay, because by then you've done all your writing work and you're needing a break as well.
Exactly.
So it works both ways, I think. Yeah. Well, we are really grateful that you're jumping on board with us today. And we know that you've got one very, very special story that I know many, many schools have studied over the years. And it ties into Harmony Day really, really beautifully. It's just behind me here, called Room on Our Rock. And we are super excited that you're going to be able to share about this story, because it's a really unique story. I don't think there is any other book that I'm aware of. And I am a teacher librarian. I read a lot of books, but I don't think there's any book that stands out that can do this special circular reading. I better not give anything more away. I better hand over to you and not spoil, no spoilers on Yabba, on the Yabba Vaps.
Thanks,
So
Michelle.
let's hand over to you, Kate and Joel.
Thanks,
Thank you very
Michelle.
much.
Oh, this is really exciting to be here on Harmony Day. And Michelle's right, we do have a special book to read you. It is called Room on Our Rock. And some of you may have seen this book in your library. And if you have, you will notice one interesting thing about it. It has the same cover on both sides. Let me get my head here. And there's a reason for that. But I think what we'll do, Joel, is let's read it and then maybe we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Great idea. Okay.
So we're going to put Room on Our Rock up big now. Can we get that up really big, please? Thank you.
Okay. Now, Room on Our Rock. It goes a little bit like this. Now, you do have to listen up, because there's a bit of a magic trick, isn't there?
There is a
There
magic
is a
trick.
magic trick to this.
Okay.
Okay. There's no room on our rock, so it's ridiculous to say. There's space for plenty more. Shoo, go away. You'll never hear us say, you're welcome here. This rock is ours. Go back to your own. You know you can't make our rock your home. This is no place to be. You have to leave right now, as you can plainly see. Now turn around.
Oh, Oh, that is a very sad story.
You were telling them it was a good story, Kate. Like, come
Well,
on.
look,
That wasn't much fun.
No, it wasn't. And I think the problem is those seals aren't sharing, and it's pretty depressing, isn't it?
It is a little sad when they're not sharing their rock.
But we don't really like to write stories that have unhappy endings like that. We want to write a story that has a good message and a good ending. So I wonder how we can fix it. Have you got any ideas, Joel?
Look, I do.
Okay,
I
well,
do.
you wrote it, so you would.
What if we read the book backwards?
Let's do it. Let's
Okay.
give it a go.
Can't do it with most books. Can't do it with Harry Potter.
Have you tried doing it with
No,
Harry Potter?
No, I haven't.
Okay, let's read it backwards, starting from here.
Starting from the back. Now turn around. As you can plainly see, you have to leave right now. This is no place to be. Make our rock your home. You know you can't. Go back to your own. This rock is ours. You're welcome here. You'll never hear us say, "Shoo, go away." There's space for plenty more, so it's ridiculous to say there's no room on our rock. Well, there you go. Well, who liked it better that way?
Yeah, who
I know.
did like it better that way? Put your hand up if you liked it better that way.
I know we did. So you see what we did? We're using the same words, the same pictures, and the same pages, but because it's arranged in a reverse order, we can actually tell that story from two very different points of view.
Yeah, it's a kind of can we be bigger on the screen, please, Yabba? It's a certain kind of poem that's actually arranged in such a way that you can read it forwards and backwards. And it really helped us to tell this story. Joel, do you want to talk about why we chose to write it like this? Because we could have just written a normal story. Why did we choose to write it in such a way that it goes backwards and forwards like that?
Yeah, no, that's good because it's a bit of a challenge. It's not the easiest way to write a book, is it?
No, it's
No.
really tricky. Actually, it gave me a big headache.
Yeah, me too. But look, the reason we chose to write it that way was because we wanted to give the reader, that's you guys,
Yeah.
a sense of experiencing what it might be like first to be sort of rejected from that island, and then when we read it the other way, to be accepted by that island, to be welcomed and included.
So what this book does, or what we're trying to do, is we're trying to write a book that makes you feel the things that the book is talking about. So that's why we did it that way, because I know when I've read this to kids at schools and when I've watched kids read it for the first time, that first reading, you kind of go, oh, that's really sad. I don't know if I like this story. And then when you read it back, there's a surprise that those words are kind of playing a trick on you. And I think that's part of what makes it kind of powerful. One time, though, we did meet a librarian or a teacher, I can't remember, who didn't know you were supposed to read it the other way. And we're like, you got to read it the other way. It's not much of a story if you just read it one way.
No.
But I wonder what some of the themes are in it for you. I mean, it's Harmony Day. Oh, look, we got a poll here. The poll said 100% that they prefer the book read backwards.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
Excellent.
We're talking to some like-minded kids.
So, I mean, I wonder what some of the themes are. Maybe you could put them in the chat. What do you think the book is about for you?
Some of the themes for me are maybe around inclusion.
Yeah.
Including others. And that's something we can do, in the playground or.
Yeah, and that idea of inclusion, it works just with your friends and making sure people feel included, and not having people left out. But it also works much bigger than that. We could also think about it in terms of, people who've come from other countries where they've lost their homes, refugees, people like that, and how we can include them in new schools or in our community and neighborhoods. So it's kind of like a little story, but also a big story at the same time. What are those kind of stories called?
Well, those are often called a fable.
Or an allegory.
Or an allegory.
Yeah.
So that's a story with a bit of a message.
Absolutely. And you know what? The other thing I want to tell you about this book is these illustrations. You'll notice they're really sweet illustrations, and they've got a simple feel to them. And the reason we chose to do it like that, well, we didn't illustrate them, but talk to the illustrator about it,
Terry Rose Bainton,
is because what we wanted to do is the illustrator wanted to make sure the story visually could be told one way and the other as well. Because if they're all looking happy when they're excluding them, that doesn't make sense. So it's a really tricky job also for the illustrator to tell a story that goes backwards and forwards. So that was an incredible challenge that she did. So Room on Our Rock is a story that can be read backwards and forwards. There is actually one other one that can be read backwards and forwards, and you might find it in your library. We also wrote this one called Move That Mountain, and it's got some fabulous little puffins in it that help save this whale. So if you've got that in your library, check that out, because that's the only other book I know that can be read backwards and forwards.
Well, this is true. Fun fact about Room on Our Rock. Now, they weren't originally going to be seals. This is true. Okay, so these cute seals originally were going to be great ugly marine iguanas.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen a marine iguana? They're like these sort of dinosaurs, basically like large lizards that swim in the ocean. Just like a seal, they swim in the ocean. They live on a rock. But I don't know. They didn't feel quite as cuddly as a seal.
They are not cuddly. I'm not sure that you would feel as warm towards them as you would towards seals.
Towards a seal.
Yeah. Okay, look, it's Harmony Day. I'm glad we got to share Room in Our Rock, but we also wanted to talk to you about our graphic novel series, The Underdogs. Hands up if you've seen The Underdogs.
No, a few of
them.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So The Underdogs is a graphic novel series that we wrote. It is about, does Wicket want to show her head here, because it was very much inspired by Wicket.
Very much.
It is about a dog detective agency, and these dogs have a big problem. There is a cat burglar on the loose, and they're having trouble catching this cat burglar. So what they do is very clever. They hire a cat to work at the dog detective agency. That sounds tricky.
Well, it also sounds a little bit like Harmony Day. Dogs and cats don't always get along, do they?
They don't always get along.
Wicket doesn't like the neighborhood cats.
She sort of does. They don't really like her.
They don't like her.
It's the way she approaches them. Wicket will go up to the cats and she's like, "Hi, I'm here. I want to be a friend." And they're like, "Definitely not. Just slow down and back off." So can I get a hand up for anyone who is a dog person? Who do you think, who's a dog person? Okay. And what about cat people?
Yeah, it's about 50-50.
I wonder if we can even do a poll maybe on cat vs dog. Okay. Michelle is a cat person. Interesting. Who's a dog person? So so Joel and I were thinking about Underdogs, and we were thinking about how it's actually got a bit of a Harmony Day story in it. And we thought about what animals can teach us about harmony. And then we started doing a bit of research into unlikely relationships and friendships between animals.
Oh, this is good research.
Yeah. So
what did you find out?
So this is what I found out. Actually, it turns out that some animals can teach us a lot about harmony with their friendships. Like, for example, this pair. This is one of those rescue dogs. Do you know those dogs, Joel?
Is that a Saint Bernard?
It is a Saint Bernard. And what happened was this little goat.
That's not a Saint Bernard.
That is not a Saint Bernard. But it was found and it was lost from its parents. And so they took the goat and it needed a family. And so they brought it to the farm when they found it. And the Saint Bernard looked after it. And so the little goat actually became a family with the Saint Bernard, and they became really good friends.
So the goat thinks he's a dog?
A little bit.
Maybe
it's a rescue goat. That'd be funny. Oh, melt my heart. Look at these. This is a Labrador and a duck, and they are the best of friends. They live in California. The duck met the dog when it was a baby, and the dog looked after it. So, and then they stayed friends for a really long time. And that's about the sweetest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
Okay, here's another Harmony Day moment.
Oh, wow.
This is pretty special. This one is from a zoo. I think it's San Diego Zoo. And it was a sort of a sad story. The rhino was getting really sad and it was all by itself. And so the zookeepers thought, we need to give it some company. And so this sheep, not this special kind of sheep, they took the sheep and they introduced it to the rhino. And immediately the rhino began to get a lot happier and they became fast friends.
Oh, it's lovely.
It's a very sweet
Very
little
sweet.
story as well.
Very
I
sweet.
think I've got one more. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
This
wow.
is a German Shepherd and a tiger, a cub. And this is a special rescue home in America for exotic animals where they rescue and look after little exotic animals. And the dog is part of the rescue house, and it's just used to looking after them and being really calm with them. So it's one way that they can kind of have some harmony. So these are some very sweet stories about Harmony Day. Okay, let's talk the underdogs.
The underdogs, cat and the dog. Cat and the dog getting along famously. Okay, because Fang here is she's a cat. She's a scrappy kind of street cat.
Well, I've got some pictures here, Joel.
Oh,
I'll pop
wonderful.
them up here. Okay, right.
Okay, so the
Talk us
first
through
guy
these
you
guys.
need to know about is Detective Barkley. He's our German Shepherd. And he's one of those sort of old school detectives, you know, he goes around in a trench coat writing down notes in
Okay.
his notepad.
Well, he must be a very good detective then.
I wouldn't say that, Kate.
Oh.
No, he often misses the clues while he's busy writing down notes in his notepad. The
You're right.
burglar might be going past him in
Okay.
the right in front of his nose. So that's why he does hire this cat called Fang, scrappy little street cat. She's got one eye. I can't tell you why she's only got
That's a
one eye.
mystery,
It's a
isn't it?
mystery. It gets revealed in book 4.
In book 4, that's the purple book.
And she's only got a couple of teeth too, doesn't she? She's sort of she's one of those scrappy street cats. She's
But
she's
what's
kind of-
great about Fang is she might be inexperienced, but she really is enthusiastic. She has always wanted to be a detective. And so this is her dream come true. And she's smart and bright and scrappy. So she actually lends a lot of expertise to the underdogs. So we've got Barkley, we've got Fang. There's a couple more I want you to meet. So here are 2 others. This is Dr. Spots. She's like the inventor of the group, you know, the science one. She comes up with all their cool gadgets. She also invents stuff. The problem with Dr. Spots' inventions is that they've already been invented.
Yeah,
actually.
like she invents things like roller skates. You know, wonderful, but already
Yeah,
invented.
talk about that for a second, Joel, because
She-
I've just remembered something.
She invents scuba diving equipment, which is wonderful. Of course, it helps us explore.
I wasn't going to do this, but I just
What have you got
remembered
there?
I've got this. I've actually got one of Dr. Spots' inventions. It's a pet translator.
Oh, this old thing.
Yeah, this is amazing. And what it does is it can translate anything from dog or any animal, depending on the setting, into anything you're saying into fluent dog. So,
Yeah, right.
like if you just put this on your head here,
Yeah, okay.
and I'll just
What,
activate
you want
it.
to try it out on?
Yeah,
On
there
the
we go.
Yabba call
It's on. Yeah, lean in here.
in live.
Yeah, so here we go. So it's on now.
Okay, yep.
Setting there.
Set on
Now,
yours.
Joel,
Wow.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
I've set it to dog,
It's a dog
and what's gonna come out will be fluent dog.
out of my mouth.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be talking dog.
You're going to speak dog.
I'm
Yeah.
going to speak. Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
so-
That's so cool.
So I'm just putting the setting on
Okay.
now to
All right.
dog.
Dog.
And
Yeah.
Joel, when I ask you this question, we should get fluent dog.
Okay.
What is your favorite thing about Harmony Day?
Okay.
Wicked is not happy. Let me just.
You got
That's a chicken.
Yeah,
That's
you had it on
not.
the
That's
wrong-
not a dog.
wrong
Okay.
setting there,
All right.
Kat.
Wrong setting. Wait. All right. Let's see. Try again here. Yeah. All right. Setting it to dog there. Joel, what is your favorite thing about Harmony Day? That's Howl the Monkey.
Howl the Monkey.
Not working there. Okay.
No.
Last try.
Needs new batteries, doesn't
No, it's going strong.
it? Okay.
Okay. All right. Harmony Day. What's your favorite thing? Okay. Excellent.
Okay. We got
So
there in the end.
maybe that is one invention that she's got that was pretty good.
Mm.
Now let's have a look. Oh, there's one more detective I want to tell you about. It's that Chihuahua. That is Carl, and he is the underdog secretary. So what his job is to answer the phones. He's a Chihuahua. He wears a Hawaiian shirt. The only problem is his only job is to answer phones, except He's afraid of phones.
That could be a problem.
It's a big problem. Every time one rings, he's like, ah, like this. So this is difficult. Anyway, we're going to read a little bit from this story. Joel, you're going to read it?
Okay. All right, let's read it out. Maybe we might go large screen for this.
Okay.
Perfect.
I was going to get a copy, but I realized that one's written in Spanish here. So maybe you can read the English one.
I'll
written
read the
in
English one. That's easier for me.
It's easier for you.
All
I've got
right,
it written in Korean as well. You don't know how to speak Korean, but you can read it.
Not very well, no. Now, we are going to read you a little excerpt from The Underdogs Hit a Grand Slam.
Okay.
Or Serve It Up, as it's called in the US, but I like to call it Hit a Grand Slam.
Okay, so what you need to know is this one is set during a big tennis match, and all of the tennis stars, the dog tennis stars, have come to Dogtown. You've got Ash Barkey, you've got Novak Djokovic, you've got Steffi Graf. In fact, she's even one of the organizers.
She is, and she's a little stressed out right now. She's at the outset of play for this huge big tennis match, a bit like the Australian Open, but the dog version. They can't find a single tennis ball. So, bit of a disaster. So the underdogs are going to help Steffi out, and this is where we'll pick it up. The underdogs followed Steffi back out to center court. She was right. The crowd was restless, and the tennis stars were very, very annoyed. And the TV commentators say, "Newsflash, there are still no tennis balls." "Oh, this is shaping up to be the worst Grand Slam ever." "I've got an idea," said Fang brightly. "The tennis balls might have gone missing, but I think I saw a soccer ball in the storeroom. Why don't you play the first match with a soccer ball?" said Fang. "You can't play tennis with a soccer ball," yelled Steffi. But the sound of the annoyed crowd was getting louder. "Soccer? I thought this was tennis. Boo! Where are the tennis balls?" "Newsflash, that cat wants soccer ball tennis. It's so crazy, it just might work." Steffi looked at the angry crowd and the even angrier tennis stars. She says, "Fine, we'll try it. It'll buy me some time to send out Jack Russell to chase down a delivery of tennis balls." You see that dog there? That guy is called Jack Russell. 10 points for guessing what kind of a dog he is. Yeah, he's a Jack Russell. And they are pretty good at finding tennis balls. So he says, "I'm on it. If there's a ball out there, I'll find it." With that, the Dogtown Tennis Grand Slam went ahead, but with a soccer ball. Boris Barker did his best to serve it, but it was too heavy. Ash Barkey tried to hit it back, but ended up bouncing it off her head. Bonk! Great goal by Ash Barkey. "Hey, there are no goals in tennis, Eddie." "There are now." But after 5 broken rackets, it was pretty clear that the soccer ball wasn't working. So what do you think they did next while they were waiting for Jack Russell to find tennis balls somewhere in Dogtown? Yep, you guessed it, they tried some other balls, like a golf ball. Pow! "Hey, that golf ball is gone. Yeah, and the racket has a hole in one." You really should never play tennis with a golf ball. Just saying. Next, they tried a beach ball. Boing! Surf's up. Nope, that beach ball is not coming back. After that, they tried a football. Snap! Hey, is that a football? Yep, and another broken racket. Oh dear. A baseball next. Batter up. That's a home run. Whoosh! Here's a problem. Ash Barkey is serving up a bowling ball. Crash. Strike. "This isn't working," barked Steffi. She was just about to say, "Where is that Jack Russell?" when who should come racing back into the stadium but Jack Russell. "Thank doggy back," said Steffi, "but where are the tennis balls?" "You're not going to believe this, Steffi," panted Jack Russell. His face was pink with exhaustion, his paws were covered in dirt, and he smelled dreadful. "Wow, you look like you've run a marathon." "I went to every sports shop in Dogtown. I looked in every drain, and there's no tennis balls anywhere. Someone has stolen all the tennis balls in Dogtown." Bum, bum, bum. What a mystery. What a fiend. Who would do that?
I know. That's very exciting, isn't it? Who would do that? We can't tell.
Well, you need a cat to sort that one out.
You definitely need a cat to sort that one out.
Maybe and a dog too.
Maybe and a dog. Okay, well, I'm just looking at the time, Joel, and I'm surprised that we have a little bit of time.
We've got time up.
And what that means is I get to show them something very special.
Okay.
Now, I know that some of you out there, I mean, everyone loves graphic novels. That's very exciting. We've read one of our picture books. Now, the thing you'll know about us is that we write a whole lot of different kinds of books. We write picture books like the Bin Chicken series, and we write graphic novels like The Underdogs. But the other thing that we write, or I write actually, are novels. And who is a fan of reading chapter books? I'm thinking like, what about fantasy chapter books? Things like Lemony Snicket or Series of Unfortunate Events or Harry Potter. Do we have any people who like reading books like that?
Yeah, I don't mind.
You don't mind them?
They're
What
right.
do you like?
Yeah, I love all the above.
Do you like, but you know what I was thinking? Because we write all those funny books. I was thinking sometimes I find it really hard to find a chapter book that's as funny as all those graphic novels and picture books we write. So I really wanted to write a chapter book, a fantasy book that's a funny one. So this is what I've done. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about my brand new book called The Dangerous Business of Being Trilby Moffat. I think we have a couple of minutes to have a look at it. Now, what I want to tell you about, I might put those slides back up. What I want to tell you about Trilby is it's about a girl, right? And she has to flee her home. And the reason she has to flee is a bit strange. But when she flees her home, she ends up having been promoted to the most important job in time, which is called the timekeeper. I'm going to tell you why she has to flee. The reason she has to flee is because a really weird disease is sweeping the world. Now, not a boring one like COVID, something really strange. And the reason I came up with this really strange idea is ever since I was a kid, I was thinking, how come it is that illness is always bad? Has anyone noticed that? It's like if you get sick, it's always bad, you know, with the snot and the headaches. I was thinking, I wonder why we never have interesting illnesses. Why does no one ever catch X-ray vision? I've literally never heard someone say, oh, I had the most amazing cold. You really should try it. Or, oh, I've got a limited edition virus. It's so great. It's always bad, isn't it?
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Never happens. So
Always bad.
I invented this weird thing. It's called dream sickness. And this is what happens if you catch dream sickness. If you catch dream sickness, suddenly you have an onset of a dead language. So you wake up one day and you can speak an ancient language that doesn't exist anymore.
So like you can talk Latin or something.
Yeah,
like
fluently.
Babylonian.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fluently, suddenly. The other thing you might have is suddenly you have knowledge you have no business of knowing. Like maybe you can make an ancient Roman cake from scratch, or
Those things are gross. They make them out of like pigeon guts and stuff.
and fish guts. Yeah. Can you imagine waking up and that's what you make? Like suddenly perfectly, or an ancient Roman cake?
For breakfast.
Yeah, exactly.
No, thanks.
Maybe you know how to braid, or you know how to loom, or do a dance that's been totally forgotten. Well, anyway, this is called dream sickness. And the problem with it is the longer you have it, the more you sleep. And the more you sleep, the more you dream, until eventually you don't wake up at all. And that's what's going on all over the world. People are coming down with this dream sickness. So Trilby's mother catches this disease. And so she's so sleepy. And Trilby ends up having to go and find her only other living relative, who's a 300-year-old woman who lives in a beautiful antique shop on the edge of a huge lake. And out on this lake is this most amazing island. And this island has something very special about it. There's no time on the island.
Run that by me again.
There's no time. There's no time on the island, as
No
in
time.
you don't get older. You can't get older on the island, and you can't, you don't age. Your hair doesn't grow. Nothing that happens that's affected by time will happen to you on this island.
Mm.
So I want to tell you about some interesting things that happen on the island because there's no time. First of all, if you have, if you want something to eat, the only thing there is to eat on the island is cake. And the reason is, do you know what it takes to rot your teeth, to get a hole in your teeth.
Yeah, you need a bit of sugar,
You need sugar.
like a cake, right?
And-
then you need time.
You need time.
But there's no time,
There's no time.
so you can eat cake.
You can eat cake and you'll never
That's right.
get rotten teeth.
That's good.
Like if you want to have a bubble bath, the bubble bath will never get cold, because what does it take for a bubble bath to get cold?
Leprechauns.
No, not leprechauns. It takes time.
Time.
Okay, and
Leprechauns too.
what about the bubbles? They never fizzle out. And the reason they never fizzle out is because what does it take for bubbles in a bubble bath to fizzle out?
Time.
It takes time. You can pop one, but you've really got to pop it like this. The other thing on the island you might like to know about is there is a native species of cat on the island. They're very big and very fluffy, and they're very, very rude. And they also run the public transport system. Yeah, so they do that. There's also some very special children on the island that come from different periods in time. And I think that some of you who like history might like to find out about them. There's one from a boy from 1945 in Japan. There's a girl from the Titanic. So there's all these interesting characters.
So they're from not only from different countries, but from different times,
Mhm.
and they're all getting along and working together.
Yeah.
That's kind of Harmony Day, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
it's
Harmony
interesting.
Day. And I was thinking about it because I was thinking that, you know what? I noticed that sometimes kids go on holidays and they make like best friends on holidays with someone they'll never see from a different place. Yeah. Do you ever notice that?
I do. I've also noticed a great comment. A great language to wake up to is Minecraft language.
Imagine if that was the fluent language that you suddenly woke up with, Minecraft language.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've never woken up to that language.
I hope that happens to me. Hey, I wonder if we have some questions actually at this point. That would be really great. So if you feel like you've got some questions about maybe what it's like to be a writer or some of the books, or maybe you're sitting there going, just a second, about that time book, Kate. You said that they make a lot of cakes. Doesn't it take time to make cakes? It does take time to make cakes. You're totally right. So do you know what they do to make cakes on this island? Have you ever seen those gas canisters that they use that are attached to barbecues?
They have, because they've seen barbecues.
Yeah,
They
okay.
know about barbecues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
gas bomb.
gas bottle.
Mm.
Exactly like that. But there's no gas in it. There's time in it.
Time.
A time canister.
Interesting.
Mm.
Interesting.
Someone in the comments said they want to wake up to speaking fluent dog.
Well, you can that hat.
All right. Well, we're sending this out to you.
Yeah,
You're
we'll-
gonna
we'll
gonna
send this
need
to your
that
school.
fluent dog. Okay.
Could I put it on Wicket, and would she be able to talk human? Do you want to try that?
Oh, let's see. Maybe she's going to speak human.
Hello, everybody out there. Hello. It's so nice to be on this call with everybody.
Joel, is that
today.
you pretending to be Wicket?
No. Didn't you see her lips move?
Okay.
Hello, I'm Wicket the dog.
Wicket, what is your
It is
favorite
pink.
food?
I like dog food and steak. That's great. It really does work, doesn't it?
It really does.
It really does.
Now, we have some questions. One of them is, can either of you speak another language? That's very
It's a great question.
interesting.
Great question. Well, apart from dog, okay, you've got a little bit of Danish.
I
haven't you?
can speak Danish.
Could you say a couple of words in Danish? Like maybe I would like some potatoes or something.
Jeg vil gerne have 0 kartofler, tak.
That's good.
I would
Wow.
like potatoes, please.
Right.
And what about you, Wicket? Can you speak Danish?
She can speak cat. Conversational stuff. It's conversational.
Oh, I just love it. Your session has been amazing. I'm wondering, well, I'm up here in Queensland and we're getting ready for the Olympics, and I'm wondering if you were to compete in an Olympic sport, what sport or event would you compete in, Kate and Joel?
Well,
This is
that's a great question, Michelle. And one of my favorite and most exciting things about the Olympics that Brisbane is having is that at the moment I understand that you're still working out what you would like your mascot to be. And
right.
I have heard that there is a very serious chance that it might be a bin chicken.
Well, I hope so.
Wow, that would be awesome. What a great idea, because they are everywhere up here.
Everywhere in Brisbane. Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you did have one of these, then you would have to have one of those exhibition sports, you know, where they test things out, see what it's
I
like.
like it.
And it might be dumpster diving, and I might get
Oh,
involved.
what a
Is that-
great Olympic sport for a bin chicken. Absolutely.
Would that be off like a diving board
Yeah.
into a dumpster
Yeah, full of water.
full of water?
Yeah.
I think I'd like to try jousting at the Olympics. I can't ride a horse, but I could work on that.
Yes,
I could work on-
jousting.
Jousting, maybe.
Okay, that's an interesting sport. I like it. Now, we've got some questions coming in, Kate and Joel, from talking about your time story. I've got it just behind me here.
Yep.
It just says here, why do the cats on the island run the public transport?
Well, you know what? This actually goes back to a little bit of research we were doing for the underdogs. When you're starting a new series, you need to immerse yourself in everything to do with cats and dogs. And so we did do a little bit of research into the jobs that dogs do and some of the jobs that cats do. And we found out that there's a cat in Japan who actually runs a railway station. No joking. This cat is a station master of a railway station in Japan.
That is true.
I think that little fact inspired us.
Yeah,
Or inspired
absolutely.
Kate.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you're doing all that research, when you're writing your stories, it's funny how the different ways it can percolate in. The story reason why there are cats is they are the only native animal on the island, and they can talk as well. And that's why they're very, very rude. But they have an ancient and very special role, but they've got very lazy. And that's why they're there. Yeah.
Okay. I know that lots of students across Australia are going to want to read this series, so I hope there's another one to come after it. Now, we've got another question here. Does your translator hat allow you to speak any language?
Any
That's
animal.
a good question.
Yeah,
any
any-
animal language. So there's elephant, I think. What are the other settings?
Yeah. I'll let me.
Guinea pig,
Guinea pig.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
gorilla, orangutan.
Robin's
Wow.
got a question in there that says, "Do we do school visits?" We do school visits. We usually do them in July and August.
Yeah, round book month.
And I know we've got schools from all over the country here today. So I will just put this out. I have actually got a cancellation. We've got a cancellation in Melbourne in August. So if you have a Melbourne school that is keen to get in touch with us, that just happened this morning. So hot off the press.
Wow.
I'm
I'm
seeing
sure you'll have some Victorian schools that want to, talk more about that. There's a great question here about, did Wicket, your dog, inspire the Underdog series? I just love this series, I've got to say.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. You know
And
what?
I'm very lucky. We got ours signed at the Voices on the Coast. So we've got
That's
signed
right.
copies up here.
That was a great festival.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
a lot of
that's
fun.
such a good festival.
So-
Look, at the back, you know how they always have, about the author, and then, it says some information about the
Yes.
author. Usually in these books, we thought we'd do it a little bit different, and we would do it about the author's dog. So instead of writing about us, because there's a lot of books that have got some stuff about us in it, we've written about the author's dog, and there's a picture of Wicket there, and I'll read you what it says. You already know about Wicket. She's a black cavoodle that loves Joel. She's very curly and very clever. What you don't know is that she also loves to bark. Woof. Joel doesn't like it when she barks.
Not much.
It interrupts him when he's in the middle of thinking up dog detective stories like this one you just read. Wicket doesn't mean to interrupt Joel. She's just trying to help. Woof.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true at all.
No, she's not trying to help. But we were being kind, and it's Harmony Day.
And it's Harmony Day. So we're trying to get along with our dog. Now, there's another great question about our sleepy dog. Maybe it has dream sickness. Maybe Wicket has dream sickness. That's the reason
Yeah.
sleeping, Kate.
Isn't that a great connection that someone's made there? That's
Never
great
thought of
thinking.
Yes.
Great suggestion.
Absolutely.
Well done, students. Great.
And I can see a question here. How do you learn on the island if there's no time? Because you need time to learn. That's such an interesting question. And sometimes I also get asked that people say, but how can you walk? Because walking takes time as well. Well, the way that I think about this is, when you get to the top of a very tall mountain like Mount Everest or something, there's no oxygen up there, but you can still move around. The way this works is time has just been extracted. So everything time affects, like whether your hair grows, that kind of stuff, that's paused. But there's still gravity. There's still day and night. It just isn't affected by time. So no one's born on the island because that takes time. You need to arrive there and then you just stay that age.
So if a baby were to arrive on the island, they would stay a baby.
But they'd get very smart because they'd keep learning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They'd be the smartest baby. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, that might go in one. I might put that in book 3.
Write it down. And there's another question that one of our students, Winter, has asked. What inspired you to write about bin chickens? I mean, who would have thought that an ibis? I mean, I grew up with ibises coming into my paddocks. I grew up on a farm in Victoria. And who would have thought that an ibis could be the star hero of such a great series of books?
That's a great question, Winter, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's so interesting, Michelle, to hear about your experience on a farm because, of course, that's a much more normal place to see a bird rather than a rubbish bin, right? Joel and I live in the city. We live in Sydney and we live right near the heart of the city. So we see a lot of bin chickens as well, ibises, but we see them scavenging around and we see them living a city life. And what we started to notice about 5 years ago is that people had a love-hate relationship with them. And some people were very negative. They were like, I don't like those birds. They're disgusting. And the thing about them is they're actually a native bird and they've come from a wetland and they've come from doing what they do naturally and they're in the city because we've changed their environment. So they're using that long beak that's actually designed for putting holes in the ground and aerating it and pulling out their food. They're using that very cleverly to poke it into a rubbish bin and pull out something else they can eat. So we thought, we would like to tell the story of this bird because it's an interesting bird because it has this resilience. It's a bird that's resilient. It's a bird that has learned to adapt to a changing environment. And what we've noticed over the last 5 years for sure is that people have gone from, no, I don't like that bird, to I love that bird. And now, definitely. Like people used to say, I hate that bird. It steals my lunch. And now they're like, hey, that's a really cool bird. It's got a great personality and it's resilient and it's one of us. It's an Australian bird.
So that might lead into this next question that I asked. If you could be an animal, what one would you choose? Would you be a bin chicken, Kate?
Look, I think they're the most beautiful birds and I really do love one, but I would prefer to be an ibis in its natural environment. I'm not that big on eating things from bins.
No, okay.
Yeah. I think your gut health would thank you for that because I don't know how well some of these birds feel after eating on scavenging all those scraps, and some of the things you describe in the books are a bit not okay for me. We can see that the Slido poll results, cats versus dogs, we have 43% of our viewers today were for cats, but guess what? 57% of our viewers love dogs. But I just like that you've got both cats and dogs in the Underdogs. It's such a great series. I know that the boys and girls in my school are loving it, and I'm sure boys and girls out there, you need to get onto it. But it's getting very close to being the end of our Yabba session, and this is probably a really good time to remind everyone that at the moment it's nomination time. This is where you get to choose what book you would like to see shortlisted for 2023. And your teachers can take you to the yabba.org.au. It's just down there on the tab now, and click onto the nominating area, and you can nominate up to 4 books. So they need to have been published in the last 10 years. They need to be Australian. So you might need to get your teachers to help you understand the imprint page so that you can make sure that it's an Australian book. And as you know, Kate and Joel's books are all Australian, so you can nominate them. And they need to have been published in the last 10 years. So if it has been a winning book, it won't be able to be nominated for the shortlist because it's already won. So this is a great time to nominate all of Kate and Joel's books. So get onto it, everyone, because the nominations will close at the 6th of April. And if we've got any teacher librarians out there, I can send through some information, and it's on the website as well. A really easy way, if you have SoftLink or Oliver library management platforms, there is a very, very simple 6 or 8 steps that you can do a report, and it does all the work for you. Super duper easy. So I think, are there any more questions there that we need to?
Michelle, one thing I would like to say is how great that is to do, because all the other competitions are nominated by adults. So
That's
this
right.
is a really good thing to do, because I know so many kids often say, well, heck, I'm a kid. I'm the one reading it. So
That's
this
right.
is your chance.
I should get to vote.
No, you've got to be a student, Joel. Sorry,
Huh?
Kate and Joel. But boys and girls, get onto it, because it is going to be closing very, very soon at the end of term. So then we will get into reading the shortlist, and then we'll be rating them and then rewarding our books in term 4 at the award ceremony. So it is a really special occasion, and hopefully maybe Joel and Kate, you might be able to come down to Melbourne for it.
That'd
So
be great.
check it out, everyone. And Kate and Joel, can I just bring Nibbles back onto our screen here? Nibbles, our little yabba mouse, is just saying thank you very much. Maybe he needs to talk to Wicket. Hi, Wicket. Thank you for coming on board today. Oh, hang on. Did my lips move? No. And if you'd like to learn more about Kate and Joel, go to their website at katejoeltemple.com. And I'm sure teachers, if you're needing to order books and get more books in for your library and your collections, you'll be able to do that via their website. But you have your publications everywhere. They are so accessible. Boys and girls, and thank you, Nibbles, for coming on board now. But we need to say a big thank you. Give a round of applause, please, to Kate and Joel, everyone. This has been a fantastic session for Harmony Day. And Yabba would like to again thank you, Kate and Joel, for partnering with us and with the Department of Education and everyone out there at school. We hope you have a fantastic day. And we always say at the end, happy reading. So let's do it together, hey? 1, 2, 3.
Happy reading.
Thanks, Michelle. Bye, everyone.
See you later.